time now for MediaWatch, and Emma James joins me now. Hi there, Emma.
Hi there.
You're going to start with the latest controversy over the Trump administration and those alleged links to Russia. Now, General Michael Flynn is in the spotlight once again. He's calling for immunity. Tell us more.
Yes, of course, Flynn, the man who barely got his feet under the table as National Security Advisor, being sacked less than a month into that job after having lied about his contact with the Russian ambassador. He now is a wanted man, but wants immunity before he will talk. As BuzzFeed puts it, he is now a person of Flinterest. Although it's a serious story, people really not above a few puns when it comes to this particular issue. And of course, it's the ongoing FBI and congressional investigations that want to hear from him into alleged Russian meddling in the US election. They want him to testify, but so far he has been denied immunity, and he says he will only testify if he gets that. This Twitter user, another pun here, saying, is he trying to avoid self-Flynn-crimination, perhaps? Looking elsewhere online, some people are very keen to flag up the irony of certain comments made by Mr. Flynn himself. Last year, he went on NBC's Meet the Press back in September, talking about, among other things, remarks made by Hillary Clinton's campaign chair, John Podesta. And this is where the irony klaxon really needs to sound. Take a listen.
The very last thing that John Podesta just said is no individual too big to jail. That should include people like Hillary Clinton. I mean, 5 people around her have been given immunity, to include her former chief of staff. When you are given immunity, that means that you've probably committed a crime.
Well, the president has ridden to his defence. He's taken to Twitter saying that Mike Flynn should ask for immunity, in that this is a witch hunt, he says. Excuse for big election loss by media and Democrats of historic proportion. We won't go into the fact that it wasn't a loss of historic proportion. We'll just take that as something that people now know to be untrue. But of course, Donald Trump has also very much changed his tune. If we take a look at the Daily Caller, they've written flashback. Trump repeatedly questioned why Hillary Clinton's aides needed immunity. And in particular, he did so 2 days after that interview by Mike Flynn, September the 27th. He said, if you are not guilty of a crime, what do you need immunity for? Telling that to people at a rally in Florida when he was on the campaign trail, obviously. Now, as you mentioned earlier, Flynn's lawyer has released a statement saying General Flynn certainly has a story to tell, and he very much wants to tell it should the circumstances permit. And it is that line that The Atlantic has used, and this is a great story to take a look at, this on the website for The Atlantic, written by Matt Ford. It's a very useful recap of what's happened so far, but they also point out that a request for immunity isn't an admission of guilt or wrongdoing, but perhaps they wonder whether this may have been done by General Flynn because he had already spoken to the FBI when he was before he was sacked from his post by the US president. And if he lied to the FBI, that is a federal crime. So he could face prosecution, and it may be that he wants immunity to avoid that. Now, lots of people on Twitter, obviously Democrats and supporters of Hillary Clinton, finding a lot of humour in this, pointing out Flynn on the campaign trail said, if I did 1/10 of what Hillary did, I'd be in jail. And you've got images of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama having a good chuckle. Along with this one, another one of his famous speeches where he shouted at the crowd and got them to join in, lock her up, talking about Hillary Clinton. And you've got Ms. Clinton there having a good chuckle too. And this one, similar theme. Mike Flynn, the guy who chanted "lock her up," is looking for immunity from prosecution, and a very well-known photograph there of Hillary and Barack Obama.
All right, having a good chuckle, and plenty to chuckle about at the moment, because, of course, tomorrow is April Fool's Day, 1st of April. Some people getting in rather early with the pranks, though.
Yes, absolutely. It seems to be that businesses don't want to miss out on an opportunity to be talked about. But Mashable is saying it's April Fool's Day, not week, and this madness needs to stop. They're totally not getting in on the joke. It's dumb, it's wrong, and it's even dangerous, they say. Now, among the slightly less dangerous pranks, the Daily Mirror, a newspaper in the United Kingdom was fooled by Krispy Kreme and their lengthy video about how the British people can't pronounce the name of the brand properly. They call it Krispy Kreme. So they are actually changing the name to be Cream as it is written normally in English. The journalist did wonder whether possibly this could be a joke, saying, of course, there's a chance it's an April Fool, but they'd be announcing it far too early. It would be terribly unfair to their customers to do an April Fool in March, they say. But they're not the only company doing so. Looking elsewhere, Burger King came out with an advert for a Whopper-flavoured toothpaste. Is this for real, asks Hollywood Life. Now, there is actually a link to an article there where it says, are we dreaming? They've released the weirdest commercial ever, Whopper toothpaste. Now, if you press that link, the article no longer exists, so clearly somebody has let Hollywood Life in on the joke.
Okay, Whopper toothpaste.
What a revolting thought.
I don't think I'd use that. Not very fresh tasting. Thank you very much indeed, Emma James, there with today's edition of Media Watch.